All right, everyone, good morning. Welcome to the 10 a.m. stretch class. I am Jen. Make sure you have a broom stick, broom handle, 6-foot PVC pipe for today's class. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with our footwork. This week I've been watching more and more things and reading about the importance of taking care of our feet. And so I kind of decided that we would make this just a part of our routine, the same way that we do when we go after our hamstrings and glutes. We'll just take 5 minutes at the beginning of every class to begin warming up our feet and our ankles. So from the side, you can see I have the stick planted into the ground a little bit closer angle, and it's extended out and away from me with my grip into the stick. And I'm working on warming up my left foot as I peel my heel off the ground, driving all of my digits into the ground. I want you to feel like you're being very centered in the focus of your toes into the mat below you, okay? Don't drive it to your big toe. Don't drive it strictly to your pinky toe. Right now, I want you working all the way up into those 5 digits. Good. All right, now let's switch feet. We've done 7 to 8 of those. We're starting to feel a little bit warm. Let's go to the right foot. I can tell it's my right foot because I have the R on my right sock. I actually put the socks on the right feet this morning. Good, getting as high as I can up onto my toes, the balls of my feet. Now let's go back to the left foot and we'll take it all the way up, and we're gonna work just from, let's just play the piano here for just a minute. Going from big toe to pinky toe, staying up, moving back and forth, working on pressing each digit one at a time into the mat below you. Good, and now let's work all the way that entire footprint in the circular motion down into the ground. From toes, instep, heel, outside and back to the toes. And then work your way in the opposite direction. Good, now let's go ahead and take it to the other side. So we're going all the way up. Big toe, play the piano over to the pinky, rolling back and forth, and not just moving the knees side to side, but actually pressing each digit into the mat with intention. Good, and then now take your circles all the way up and down and around. And then change directions. Good, and I think I've worked out all the cracks in my ankles, believe it or not. Okay, now I'm gonna come down into my horse stance. All right, so I'm standing nice and tall. I'm just gonna drop my fanny a little bit and I'm gonna tuck my pelvis, okay? So tuck, all right? So nice flat back, shortening that distance from rib to hip. And now we're gonna work up and down, using that stick for balance, staying in that horse stance, peeling your heels all the way up, taking your weight onto the toes and back down with control. So think about coming slower down to the earth, then rising up. Let's try 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Nice job. Okay, good warm up. You should really feel like you've got some good action going on your feet now. All right, nicely done. Let's go ahead and place the stick behind our shoulder blades, palms up, and the stick should really be in the crook of your arms, and it should be nestled below your scapula. All right, so we're in our nice relaxed position with knees slightly bent. Now we're going to begin by working that stick up and down, but focusing on being nice and calm in your chest and your shoulders. And we're trying to loosen up that muscle tissue around your shoulder blades. So the stick is rising and falling just in a straight up and down pattern. And your neck is nice and relaxed, and your tops of shoulders are relaxed. Now let's start working in a circular pattern. Now at first you may feel like your body wants to be moving as you're working through this circular pattern, but it really is just the mobility of your shoulder blades that's going to help with these circles. So as I turn to the side, you can see I'm starting with really small circles. And the goal isn't necessarily to get bigger circles. The goal is just to feel relaxed and that the movement of the stick is being generated by the pedaling of your shoulder blades in your mid back. Okay, change directions. Keep your pelvis nice and still here. All right, good. Now that's a nice warm up. We'll take it back to kayak. Okay, so move the stick to your front. It should be right below your breast line, and grabbing the stick, thumbs up. Okay, and now we're focusing on really small circles here, as imagining that we're paddling in a kayak. And the goal being that we keep our elbows unbent as we work through these strokes. And they might get bigger and bigger here, keeping those elbows bent. Slow it down if you feel like you're bending at the elbows. As your arms draw back, you should feel your shoulder blades slide down in your back. Let's do 2 more circles and then we'll change directions. All right, here we go. Let's paddle backwards. All right, take it back to small, because I suddenly felt like, whoa, what am I doing here? Let's take it back to small. My goal is elbows straight. Shoulders nice and still, pelvis nice and still. And then I'm gonna gradually get bigger and bigger with my paddling arms. And again, as I'm pulling back, I feel my shoulder blades sliding down my back. Good. Okay, let's come back to center. We'll go right into a very natural movement to further loosen up our back. Let's take our palm to the end of the stick on the right side. We'll grip it with the left hand and we'll move all the way up the swinging pendulum. Lengthening through your rib cage and your back as the back of your right hand is reaching for the ceiling, and you're pressing the stick up and away. And the goal is to get that hand right above the top of your head. Lengthen and return. Good. I'm going to switch hands now. Left hand on the end of the stick, right hand's grasping it on the far end. Okay, and I'm going back to my pendulum motion. Exhale as I'm driving the stick toward the ceiling. I should be feeling the stretch in my armpits along my rib cage. Try to relax the jaw as you do this. We don't want to drive crazy amounts of tension here. You just want to start loosening up the lateral side of your body as we get into a little bit broader movements. Good. Now let's grab the stick on both ends and we'll do our up and overs, okay? So get nice and relaxed. Take this only as far as you can. Remember, we don't want to be working in pain, okay? So arms are as wide as we need. Exhale as we raise up overhead, focusing on that stillness. Now, once you reach overhead, soften through the chest and allow the stick to fall gently behind your body as far as you can easily, and then return it back to your hips in front. Exhale as you return again, allowing it to fall quietly behind your body. Good. Hopefully you are able to do this quietly in your body and in your head. Stopping before you hit a point of pain. I don't want you to be doing this and pushing yourself into pain. We want to be working through that range of motion in our shoulders, feeling our humerus rotate in our shoulder girdle, opening through our chest. Good. Now, for those of you that want just a little more, let's bring our hands in a little bit closer. And exhale as you let it slide down your backside. You'll feel a big increase in the amount of stretch if you bring your hands in a little bit closer, just an inch or two on either side. Good. All right, nice job. Okay, now let's go back to the lateral side. I'm gonna plant the stick in the right side of my body. So the base of it's gonna be closer to the midpoint of my foot. And then I'm gonna extend the right end of the stick out and away from my body. So you see that nice parallel line. And then with my left hand, I'm gonna make, with my arm, I'm gonna make this nice right angle. And I'm gonna reach and extend up and over, opening up the left side of my body as my bicep reaches for my ear on both sides, and return. Okay, let's try that a couple more times. Arm at a right angle, the stick is in my right hand. My right arm is gonna extend out. Okay, so now my arm is parallel to the ground on the right side. My left arm is gonna extend over, and now I'm gonna try and bring my ear to my biceps on both sides as I open up the left side and lengthen. Good, let's do one more. Step by step here, okay? Lengthen that right arm so it's parallel to the ground. Left arm is at a right angle. Exhale and straighten, and now begin bending. So right ear to right bicep, and then lengthen to get the left bicep to left ear. And you're really gonna feel a broad, very deep stretch. You might even get it all the way down through your hips. Good. Let's take it to the other side. Okay, so the stick's now in my left hand, planted just an inch or so from the side, the middle of my left foot. I'm gonna extend my left arm, or my left arm out so it's parallel to the ground. My right arm is extended in a right angle. I'm gonna reach for the ceiling and then bring left ear to left bicep and right bicep to right ear. Exhale here. Feel that lengthening up your side. Return. We have two more of these, guys. Okay, you ready? Left arm is straight, right arm's at a right angle. Extend that right arm to the ceiling. Open up that right side. Left ear to left bicep. Right bicep to right ear. Now, if you're feeling extra bendy today, what you do to get more out of this or drive yourself more, which I'm not going to do, but you could drop your grip lower, right? That would force you, if you bring ear to bicep and then bicep to ear, to open up your sides even more deeply. But I'm gonna stay parallel because I'm just not that bendy. Okay, ready? Arm is extended parallel to the ground, right arm reaching for the ceiling. And now I'm gonna exhale as I lower my ear, my left ear to my left bicep, and right bicep to right ear. Relax in your jaw. Relax in your neck. Good, and return. Nice job. You should really be feeling good on the lateral sides now. Okay, so let's hinge. Okay, you guys ready? I'm gonna put the stick behind my hips. And I'm gonna hinge just a little bit. My knuckles are facing out because I'm gonna do just a little bit more rotational with my shoulder, but I'm gonna do it in this fashion. So let's do a couple of these warm-ups first, okay? So the bar is right at my butt on the back side, okay? And my knees are separated, my feet planted gently into the ground. I'm gonna exhale and release all that tension as my fanny goes back and I'm melting my flat back toward the ground. I'm gonna feel the stick just slowly slide down the backside of my legs and return to standing. Exhale as you melt toward the mat again. Inhale as you rise. Exhale as you melt toward the mat again. Our goal is getting deeper and deeper, maybe getting that stick closer and closer to the ground. No tension in your arms. Rise. We are not going down with the rounded back. Remember, it's a nice flat back, okay? With this next one, we're gonna pause at the bottom and do a little flippy-do action with the bar over our back. Okay, ready? Exhale as you melt toward the mat. Belly button through sternum, nice flat back. Getting as deeply as you can. Hips are high. Now we're gonna rotate, pushing the bar up and over the fanny, up and over your back. Gaze through your legs. Relax through your neck. All right, and begin slowly returning the bar back around your fanny, down to the bottom of your legs, and come back to standing. Okay, we're gonna do that, of course, a couple more times. All right, let's exhale as we melt into our hinge. Good, now exhale as you press the bar up and over your fanny, up and over your back, gazing between your legs, letting your head hang loose as your arms fall heavy behind you, lowering as close as you can toward the ground, no tension. And return, pressing back down, following your spine, over your rump, all the way to your ankles, return to standing. All right, one more of those. Good work. All right, exhale as you melt toward the mat. And maybe you aren't getting more range of motion here, but maybe your goal as you press that stick up and over your back is to be less tense through this movement. So pause for just a moment and try and find your breath. Try and relax through your neck, relax through your chest. Feel the weight of your body. Maybe you're rocking from toe to heel just a little bit here. And then slowly return the stick over your rump back down to your ankles and return to your standing position. Nice work. All right. We are doing great this morning. Okay. So now we're going to come down into a half kneel position. We're going to do some work in the half kneel. So for those of you that don't have a pillow handy, hopefully you've done this class enough that you do have a pillow handy. But because I forgot to forewarn you. But let's go ahead and get into our half kneel. Okay, so in our nice half kneel, I am down on my right knee. My left knee is up. and I want to activate in my glute. And so I'm going to be up on my toes curled into the mat on that right side. So I have this nice linkage coming up to my glute on the right side. Okay, so that's how that view looks. Now, what I want to do here is we're going to start with something a little bit different. We're going to open up our inner thigh. So I'll go back to this angle. I'll come kind of angled this way. What I'm going to do is that right knee, instead of being right in front of that hip in a straight line, I'm going to push it out. And instead of being like at a 12 o'clock, I want to try and get it maybe to 10 or 9 o'clock if I can. So you can use that now very dexterous ankle and walk that knee out and open. Okay, you got that? So from the front, I'm now here, okay? And you need to be in whatever position is comfortable for you, all right? So I'm somewhere between 9 and 10 with my knee. All right, now with the stick, okay. So I'm gonna have the stick across my body in the same direction as my left knee is going. So my left knee is pointed out to 9 o'clock or so, and the stick is gonna be planted down around my right knee, and it is extended out, again, that same direction as my left knee, okay, you got it? All right, now, I'm gonna grasp the stick with my left hand, and I'm gonna push down on my right hip, and my left knee is gonna start moving directionally out, okay? And I'm using the stick to just help me with balance at this point as I begin opening up the inner thigh on my left side, and I'm gonna feel it a little bit on my right hip here as well. Okay, return to center. Okay, and I'm gonna try and scoot my knee out just a little bit more. Maybe I can find a little bit more range of motion. So I just kind of walked it over a little bit, okay? Now again, right hip's going down, left knee is going out. Good, and you should be feeling this in your left inner thigh. And rise. Okay, now I'm gonna change the direction of my stick. And I'm gonna plant the stick right kind of where the ball of my foot is on my left side. I'm gonna do the same thing, except for now I'm gonna drive a little bit of rotation in my upper body. Okay, now we are gonna play with both hands doing this. We'll start with right hand on the stick, and you see how the stick is now going opposite the direction of my left knee. Okay, all right, so I'm still gonna send my left knee out. I'm still gonna drop in my right hip, but my right hand is gonna hang on to the end of the stick. And I'm gonna get some stretch in my arm, and I'm gonna get a little bit of stretch in my back here. My left arm for right now is in toward my body, but I'm gonna go ahead and extend it out, reaching for you. Keeping my shoulder down. Okay, return. Oh, all right, now I feel that stretch in my deltoids. Now that I'm returning, I can feel, oh yeah, I got that. Let's try that again, okay? The base of the stick is right below the ball of your foot on your left side. Right hand's toward the top of the stick, not covering the top, but gripping around the top. Okay, drop that right hip in, send that left knee out. All right, now I'm reaching for you. Palm out. I'm really feeling this in my chest now. And now I'm gonna reach down toward my right knee. And return to center. Okay, good. One last variation on this. Of course, we're gonna reach over here with our left hand now. Okay, so I wanna keep that shoulder down as well as I can. My right hip is going down, my left knee is going out, and I'm grasping the stick now with my left hand. And now I'm going to thread the needle with my right hand. And now I'm going to reach for my left foot with my right hand. And return. Good. Okay. Wow, I could really feel that in my lats. Now that I'm out of that stretch, I can really feel that right under my armpit. Okay, now we're going to switch sides. All right. So now I'm into my left half kneel. So left knee down, right knee up, and I'm going to walk out to whatever angle I can start with here, right? And I'm starting with, again, this direction congruent with my knee. So my right knee is out here between 2 and 3 o'clock. I'm going to have the end of the stick toward my left knee, just a little bit outside of it. I'm going to grip toward the top of the stick. My left hip now is going to move in, right? In and down as my right knee projects out. And I'm getting a good stretch in that right inner thigh. Good, return to center. Walk it out if you want a little bit more deep of a stretch there. Exhale as you return, left hip going down, right knee projecting out. And return, we'll do one more this way. Good. Okay, now let's take this stick and transition it to a different direction. So now it's embedded right below the ball of my right foot, and it's crossing the opposite direction. So it's headed out around 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. I'm grasping with my right, or with my left hand, but my right knee is going to go in this opposite direction. Left hip's dropping. Good, come back to center. We'll take one more before we switch hands. Right here, I'm going to give a little reach for you, extending my fingertips out and away. Good. Now my right hand's going to cross over. My right knee is still going to project out, but I'm getting some rotation on this back side here. I'm going to thread the needle. Good. Now I'm going to take my left hand and reach for my right foot. Good. And return. Whew. All right. Let's go ahead and come back to standing. Give you guys a little break from the knees. We'll do some stretching of those hamstrings from an upright position just a little bit here, okay? All right. So we'll go back to our split stance and do this hamstring stretch from a split stance. Okay, so I have my left leg, my right leg is back and straight. I'm going to use my stick here in my right hand, planted kind of where my right foot would be if it were opposite my left foot, just for balance. If you don't need it, don't use it. But now I'm going to hinge forward here. And my hand's just going to slide gently down the stick. I may adjust it as I need to find balance, but I'm melting belly button through sternum toward that left leg, right leg stays back. as I ease into lengthening and softening this left hamstring. Good. I'm going to hinge and rise up. We'll do that same leg one more time. Inhale before you begin. Exhale as you melt down toward the mat. Belly button through sternum, nice flat back coming to rest on that left quad. Now go ahead and step back that right leg just a little bit further, driving the heel into the ground. Try and get a little bit more out of this stretch into the calf of that right leg. Good, and for those of you that want to add a little strength element, here's where we'd set our stick down and our fingertips are down toward the ground. And we're going to transition our weight up onto our left leg as our right leg rises off of the ground. And we're focusing on trying to keep our hips in parallel. Nice and relaxed. Strong left leg. And then we'll slowly send the left leg back down toward the ground. Good. All right, bring your feet together and rise. Good. Okay, now let's switch to the other side. So the right leg is going to be back, forward, left leg back. Knee is bent on that right leg and I'm using the stick in my left hand. Okay. And now we're going to hinge and melt. Flat back toward that bent right leg in front. Hand slide, gliding down the stick, using it as you need to. Rise up, nice flat back, reverse hinge. And then exhale as you hinge back down one more time. Pause for a second here, then send that left leg back even further, driving the heel toward the mat. Relaxing through the quad, lengthening through that heel or through that calf. Now, if you did the one side, you have to do the other, okay? So hands under armpits toward the ground. We're gonna exhale as we send the weight into our left leg and our right leg is gonna float up off the ground, extending out from the hip. Make sure your headlights are pointed straight down toward the ground. That right knee is softly bent. Feel all 5 of your toes press firmly into the mat, helping to support you. Good, roll your weight back to your heel as your left leg makes its way back down to the ground. Bring your feet together and rise. Nice. Good work. You should feel nice and strong in those hamstrings now, in the glutes. Okay, let's go ahead and find our way down to the mat. All right, I have my legs extended out in a V. I'm going to work just a little bit more on a little bit of rotation, a little bit of hamstring stretch, a little bit of self-awareness in our muscles here. We're going to do a little bit of, in Pilates, we would call this a torso twist with a saw. And so that's the movement that we're going to be doing. But I want you to pay attention to how your body responds to these change of positioning that you're going to do here, where you find yourself gripping. We're starting off on the mat and we should be on our sit bones. So position yourself so you can feel your sit bones. You shouldn't be rolled back onto your sacrum. Nice and tall, okay? And your spine is in its natural position, extended up and over. And your legs are extended out from you just so they are a little bit out of position to where they can really be involved in the work that we're about to do. Now, torso twist is what it sounds. We want to try and twist through the torso. Our hips are stable into the ground based on our positioning. Okay, so we can take a couple positioning with our arms. We can cross our arms in front of our chest, or we can use ballerina arms. I tend to like ballerina arms quite a bit. Okay, now we are trying to twist in the torso. We aren't trying to send our arms. I'm sending my arms right now without really twisting in my torso. That's not really doing anything for me, okay? I have my arms extended out from my shoulders in a nice rounded position, and I'm gonna exhale as I twist to the right and return. And that twisting is gonna come from my muscles. So as I go to the right, I feel the contraction in my lats, helping me to twist to the right. Good, now let's go left. Focusing on starting your exhale before you twist. And as you do this gentle twisting movement, pay attention to how the muscles in your legs are responding right now. Are you gripping in your butt? Are you gripping in your quads? Okay, good. Now we're gonna add in that saw piece that I mentioned. So what happens when we saw, we'll do it at the end of the torso twist as we're rotated. Then right now I'm rotating toward my left foot, and my right hand is gonna extend, and my left hand's gonna extend toward my right foot. So it's a contralateral movement. Rotate and extend. So my left foot is extending, my right hand is extending out behind me, palm up, reaching for the wall behind me. And so here I'm getting a good stretch in my hamstring again and my lower back extensors. Okay, so let's begin. Exhale as we twist. Exhale as we saw. And return. Exhale as we twist. Exhale as we saw to the left. And return. Exhale. Exhale. And as you exhale, particularly as you saw, we are letting go of the tension and the fear of this movement. In our stretch rigor, we have to let go of where we're gripping, let go of the tension, and breathe into the movement. To the right, back to upright, twist to the left, saw to the left. To the right. And to the left. Nice. All right, let's go ahead and bring our knees together. And I'm going to change my position. And now I'm going to bring the soles of my feet together and allow my knees to open up. I'm going to lay back to the ground with my flat back on the ground. And I'm just going to allow myself to lay open here for just a minute. We did a lot of stretching work earlier today with those adductors, and I'm hoping to just allow my legs to release the stress and the tension that I had in that work. Good. Okay, now I forgot to preface this, but hopefully most of you have your yoga straps handy. But let's reach for our yoga straps now and wrap them around the arch of your right foot. And now we're going to extend that left leg out onto the mat so our hips are anchored down into the mat. Our elbows are in toward our ribs. Before we begin stretching, I want you to take all the tension out of that right leg. Just make it dead there and as straight as you are able. Okay, hands, there's an end of the yoga strap in each hand, elbows in toward the ribs, and exhale as you begin to bicep curl, adding more tension into your hamstrings as you lengthen, moving that foot up the ceiling. But keep those hips anchored into the ground. Good. Now relax just a little. Let that leg extend back down toward the ground. And now move the straps both into your left hand. Okay, so the strap is around your right leg. The straps are in there, the ends are in your left hand. And now I want you to go ahead and internally rotate your leg in the hip joint. Okay, so that means my right big toe is going to rotate and start pointing toward the left. Instead of pointing straight up, it's going to point toward the left. And my heel is going to start lifting on the right side. And now I've rotated the bones a little bit to try and access my outer hamstring. My outer hamstring that's tethered to the bones in my lower limb there. And you should be feeling it now definitely differently on the outside of that leg instead of right underneath. And this might feel a little bit more intense. So just try and stay relaxed. Try and keep those hips down into the mat. All right, go ahead and bend at the knee, draw the knee to the chest, and switch legs. So now left foot is going into the yoga strap. Right hands have grasped the strap again. And I'm back to this position where everything feels pretty anchored and I'm not in a lot of stress yet. So my hips are down, my left leg is straight, my shoulders are down, my elbows are into my ribs. And I'm going to begin exhaling and doing a little bicep curl, pulling my toe of my left foot up the ceiling toward my nose. Get heavy in your belly here. Try and keep your pelvis down. Good. Now relax the tension on the strap just a little bit. Now we're going to move to that outer hamstring. So let the leg lower a bit as you twist that leg, sending the big toe on your left foot over toward your right shoulder. And now move the straps into your right hand and begin curling in the bicep to lift that leg. It won't need to go as far to get a good stretch here. Good. Now relax your grip on the straps. Now I'm going to keep my left foot in the strap here and I'm going to cross my right ankle onto my left knee into figure four. So I'm just going to take a nice and easy transition here into our cross-legged piriformis stretch. So right ankle on left knee. So my right knee, it looks like it's in a figure four pattern. The strap is around my left foot and it's over on top of the crossed pattern, okay? Now, the hardest thing about this stretch is to not carry the tension into our neck and shoulders. So before I begin doing anything, I'm trying to get a little bit more relaxed in my neck and shoulders. My bra line is heavy into the mat. I'm grasping in the yoga straps in both hands. My hips are anchored, and now I'm gonna begin with that little bicep curl movement again, driving my left knee toward my chest. That left leg is bent. And I should be feeling this stretch in my right hip, in my right butt. See, Karen, I think I am getting better at Pilates Thursday. I couldn't even lay on my back like this, and I can lay here now, so it's getting better. Try and hold it for 5 more seconds. Good. Now slowly release your grip on the yoga strap and bring your left foot down to the ground. Let your right leg cross over your left. And now we're going to let that cross-legged assembly of legs start falling off to the left side of your body. And you're going to open up that right ankle so the inside of that ankle is falling toward the ground. And let's tee out our arms with the goal of getting our shoulder blades down toward the ground and our gaze is over toward the right. As our legs are falling to the left, we're getting a nice rotational stretch in our lower back here. Good, let's slowly roll back towards center. Now we'll do the other leg, okay? So find your yoga strap and we're gonna wrap it around the arch of our right foot. Okay, and then take that left leg and cross it, placing the left ankle right below the right knee and bend that right leg. The yoga strap should be above the left leg, okay? Center yourself onto the ground, heavy in the bra line, relaxed in the neck and shoulders. Pelvis is anchored down toward the ground. All right, now we're gonna begin that bicep curl, drawing that right knee in toward your chest. And that left leg, which is crossed into a figure 4, is gonna begin moving in toward your body. And you're gonna feel this stretch in your left hip, left butt. Now for this, my left elbow is right below the meaty, like right into the meaty part of my inside of my left leg. And I'm gonna push back a little bit on that. Putting a little bit of tension into that leg, and that's gonna intensify the stretch, forcing my knee and ankle on that left side to be in a little bit more of a parallel. And that's gonna increase that stretch. Good, now start releasing on that yoga strap. Bringing the right foot down to the ground, crossing the left leg, letting it come to rest on top of the right knee. Tee out your arms, or if you find that you can't keep your shoulder blades on the ground, you can bring your hands closer to your hips. And we're gonna let that twist of legs fall to the right side now. And your arms are out away from your body, and your gaze can be toward the left. Try and keep your shoulder blades on the ground, and then evaluate where you're carrying your tension right now, releasing in your inner thighs, releasing behind your knees. If you find that your legs become untwisted here, that's okay. Good. Now slowly untangle your legs, bringing them back to center. Extend your legs out so they're straight onto the mat. Thanks for a good class today, guys. I look forward to seeing you all later in the week. We're on our normal schedule this week. Reach out to me if you have any questions or need anything at all. Have a good